Why is Instagram not popping up? Is yours popping up?
I did it. Mine just did.
Okay. Mine did too, finally.
She just did.
My goodness. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
It is Tuesday. All day. Until tomorrow. When it'll be Wednesday. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We've got the lo-fi music popping. We need to put in our own music.
But I like the lo-fi beat.
All right.
What?
Go ahead. No, you're good.
No, I still don't. I don't know what day it is. I mean, I know that it's Tuesday, July 8th. Oh, happy birthday, Dr. Fromage.
Happy birthday, Dr. Fromage.
I'm so glad that I forgot the day, because then I wouldn't have looked at the day and remembered it. No, but it's just like coming back from the 4th of July weekend, and I know that people are still all like freaking out about the LinkedIn algo. Just ride it, baby. But I would also say, in my experience, the Monday after the 4th of July break, like, or like whatever long weekend that we celebrate that, whatever, like historically low content day.
Yes. Yeah.
For both people pushing stuff out and also impressions and comments and stuff.
Yeah, I actually saw a really great post from Chris Okada.
Oh, love him. Oh, love him.
And how he changed up his content strategy and how it's really, really like helped his content. And I thought that was really cool. Good morning, Dwayne. We got LinkedIn fam popping in.
Oh, my dad says many thanks on my Instagram.
Now, okay, so I'm trying to find us live right now, and it's not popping up, which is really frustrating. In fact, it's taking forever for my Instagram to load on my phone, so I don't know if it's potentially my...
Gary V is live.
I see that. I know. I see Gary V's live. I'm like,
what's up, Gary?
Giving all of him all the attention. Anyway.
Ask your questions live. 318 people. What if I just like popped in?
We should
like
absolutely
telephone and like talk to Gary.
Yeah. Be like, Gary, we're doing a live stream too.
That would be so great.
It is Social Surge, and we are talking about personality is the brand. But we have some updates to actually talk about with regard to Instagram.
Oh, please.
Which you and I were we were sending messages back and forth yesterday. And this is kind of a big deal for us that work in social. Is that they are they've launched it already. They haven't given it to everybody, but see, I see you're live. I'm not seeing that I'm live. This is retarded.
Yeah, it's all me today, baby.
They are so Instagram has launched a way for you to have give creator access to, which is huge, to basically up to 3 people on your profile. This is a big deal for all of us who manage accounts, who do stuff like that, because of the fact that before you had to give access to somebody to be able to manage your account. Or if your Instagram profile is professional and attached to a page, or they have creator mode, then you could give them access through a third-party app. But it's not native. So now you can give them access. I personally have not seen this. And believe me, I have checked my clients' accounts. Like I am waiting.
Man, when I roll it out, can we like opt in? Can I be like Adam Mosseri?
You seriously? I don't know why it took them this long to offer something like this, because there are, I mean, I've been doing, I
believe it.
It's just, I just think it's more of like, oh, how can we make things more difficult for everybody else? I'm just kidding. That is a very selfish take, but.
Well, what is interesting is like, sometimes I have ask these questions of the internet of just like why wasn't this built natively in? And when you think about the history, Like I understand why it takes a ton of time to get this stuff online. And then if you think about the history of like where social media comes from in terms of it was well, originally it was like LiveJournal, right? MySpace. But it was individual people interacting with each other, not necessarily these like account I mean like brand accounts are still personal accounts. We'll talk about that. But the idea of needing to share access from a singular account to multiple people who are producing and contributing and managing that account, not what this was all originally for, right? And so what we do see that on so many of the other apps, and yeah, it takes a while for it to get retconned.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and you can back in the day, pour one out. You could actually, like, somebody's account could get banned because they had too many people accessing it.
Yeah.
Good morning, Robin Hendricks and Regalado Real Estate. Thanks for joining us on the gram. Our gram fam is here. And so that's always been a big concern, right? It's always been a big concern that somebody would come, you would get a new social media manager, and then all of a sudden your account that you've grown to 30,000 followers is gone because Instagram's. Oh, and here's an unrelated note. I'm working with a local landscaper. He's a friend of ours, helping him get his business going, and he's not on Facebook. So we were setting up a Facebook account for him yesterday, and Facebook now requires you to do a video to get set up. And so he does the video, right? And then they immediately ban his account. Immediately
What?
ban his account.
No.
So, oh yeah, seriously, Flicid MySpace. What's next? Net zero.
Oh, I'm not in the chat. Wait, I'm not in the chat. Bro, I miss MySpace. Give me a LinkedIn top 8.
Yes. Put some music behind it. Okay, hold on. We're getting off track. So Facebook now is requiring a video for you to sign up, which drives me insane because how are all these bot accounts getting passed, right? One. Two, now I got to figure out what I'm going to do for him because, like, it's his email. Like, I don't know what we're going to do. So I've got to. I got to noodle on that for a little bit.
You figure it out. You'll think of something.
I was just like abso-freaking-lutely flat. I just sat there and I'm like, he literally just like, because it tells you to turn your face and you have to do all this stuff, and then it's like, okay, the video is fine, so we upload it, and then it was like, nope, you're immediately banned, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Anyway, so
you have to tell me if you can hear the contractors, because the contractors painting my house just arrived on the scene. But it's
can't hear.
Okay, good. Yeah, just let me know. It's tough. I see it's tough to manage all this. This is why you have situations in which you have somebody who has like 6 LinkedIn profiles with all with 0 or 2 connections, right? And they're all like the blank face, and it's just, and that's tough, right? Because then I
have 2 LinkedIn profiles. I have 2. Yes. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you the story, right? This is way off topic, but whatever. Okay. It's Tuesday morning. We don't care.
This is personality.
Okay, it is. Personality is brand. So LinkedIn has this weird feature that if you have Gmail, it will automatically log you in.
Oh.
So one of my Gmails, it created a profile for me. And the only way that I can delete that profile is if I create a password and actually create an account. I'm like, I don't want another account. So it'll try to auto log me in with this other Gmail account. And then I have to log out and be like, no, I don't want that. No. And you'll hear me scream at my computer. But yeah, I don't know what this feature is between LinkedIn and Google where it will automatically create an account based on a Gmail account. It's the weirdest thing. And again, like I said, I tried to delete the account, but the only way I can delete the account is if I create a password. And I'm like,
this is why you end up with brands who have like 3 YouTube channels.
Oh, yes. Oh,
It's tough.
here's another side note. If you don't want to give your social media manager full access to what you have, like your password and your login, use something like LastPass,
Yeah.
LastPass. LastPass is a great resource to use for you to put in your login information, and then you can give that access to somebody else, but they'll never see your password. So that is an option for you. Definitely use it. I highly recommend if you're going to have anybody accessing your account. The only challenge is I think LastPass is you actually, as I look on one of my tabs and it says my LastPass fault, it does cost, so you are going to have to pay for it, but it's worth it if you want that peace of mind.
Yeah, and there's other password managers and things like that. And I do think a monthly plan is not. I was looking at it recently. I mean, I have it personally, but I was looking at it for something else, and it's not super cost prohibitive.
No,
However, you do like these things do add up, right? So, but there's a lot. There's a lot to think about. All the tech stuff. If you got questions, you got 3 YouTube accounts. You need somebody to help you fix that. Let us know. But what we want to talk about today, personality.
yes. So we were chit-chatting about, well, we always talk, but we were we were like, what are we going to talk about? Well, I don't know. And it's like, okay, well, why don't we talk about the 3 E's: education, entertainment, and engagement, right? I talk about the 3 E's all the time. You should be educating your audience, entertaining them, and engaging them. But then we got to the point where it was like, what in 2025 is the most important thing? Is my necklace too loud? I always worry it's too
No,
loud.
I never hear it. Also, I just want to, in the Instagram, Dr. Fromage gives a hard endorsement for LastPass with a heart emoji and says there is a light version for free. So that's just
Thank
anyway.
you, Dr. Fromage. And happy Tuesday morning to Marcy Moneypenny, who is
He,
going to be at Globe Street, the women's conference coming up in a couple weeks,
he's
actually.
the 21st,
First, the 23rd.
23rd,
Yep.
because
So
I
it is.
looked really hard at that for a long time, figuring out if I could go, but I have conflicting travel.
What? Coy Davidson CRE is joining us over on the Graham fam? What? I thought Coy didn't have Instagram anymore. Good morning, Coy. I know. So, talking about the 3 E's and the idea that in 2025, personality is the brand, right? If you look at what Fly and I have built, both individually and as we've been doing Social Surge since I think November.
I'm pretty sure this is me also like doing a hammer on the side of the screen. I'm so sorry. I didn't sleep very much.
Can't hear it. Koi says, hi, ladies. Anyway, so personality is the brand. Now, that I think we exemplify that very well. Beth Azor does that very well. Rod Santomassimo does that well. Bob Knackle does that well. Coy Davidson does that well, right? When we're talking about personality is the brand. And what I mean by that is when you think of them, do you think of their company first or do you think of them first? Now, like for example, Coy is with Colliers, right? But I don't always associate Coy with Colliers. I associate him with the information he provides on X, his personality, right? When I think of Beth Azor, I think about retail leasing. I don't necessarily think about Azor Advisory Services, her company, because her personality is the brand. When I think of Rod Santomassimo, I think about him being a coach, not necessarily so much. I do actually associate Rod with the Massimo group, but but that's like personality is brand. So, oh, there goes Marcy. Women of Influence. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name of the conference. And you're welcome for the shout out. I will see you there. I will be there on the 22nd. I am flying
I didn't know if you were going to say.
Flying in the morning, and I am flying out in the afternoon. So that is going to be well, actually in the evening. It'll be a heck of a day, but I am making it, so I'm super excited. Dwayne, if you have a chance, go to Globe Street, Women of Influence, and take a look at what these incredible women are going to be talking about. It is going to be a huge day. Um, Lots of networking is going to happen. But what I love so much too is I love that they're women specifically talking about investing, how to grow your business. It's just gonna be great. I'm really looking forward to it. Really hard to choose which which breakout sessions to go to. I was like, there's
That's always the
I
case.
I know people in this one and I know people in this one and I want to see this person. So
Darn, you're so popular.
no,
What are
not
you
at
gonna
all. Just
do?
want to go support and engage. So personality is brand in 2025. How are you showing up on social? How is your personality coming through? And I had mentioned Chris Okada at the top of the show, and he did a great post. Go find it on LinkedIn today. I don't know if he posted it. He probably posted it yesterday, but he was talking about what he changed and what he did a little differently for his posts. And what I love about what he's doing is that he's talking about the stories behind the buildings of New York City. I find that super fascinating. I think that's great information. He provides a lot of great photos. And it's not necessarily anything that he's touched personally. Like maybe he wasn't involved in the deal or the transaction, but he's bringing those stories to life. And these are iconic buildings that you see all the time, right? So, how can you, in your social media posts and in your content, show your personality and a way to educate, entertain, and engage the audience? Again, Chris is a perfect prime example of what he's doing. It's education, it's entertaining, and he engages the audience. He is actively involved in commenting back. I mean, it's really, really beautiful.
Commenting. Sorry, commenting. That was too many repetitions. I'm sorry.
No, that's the engagement aspect of it, right? How are you engaging the audience? How are you engaging with your audience? And we make the joke all the time that all doesn't we're not just specifically talking about LinkedIn. All the platforms want you to stay on as long as possible. That is their whole purpose. They want you there forever. They do not want you to leave. So when we're talking about personality is the brand, and why do the 3 E's work, right? Your audience, when we're looking at storytelling in a whole, your audience is the hero and you are the guide. This comes from StoryBrand. If you don't know what StoryBrand is, building your story brand provides the framework for storytelling. It is by Donald Miller. Fabulous book. In fact, they just
Really
came
good.
out
Oh, wait.
with 2.0.
Keep going. Keep going. Sorry.
The 3 E's provide consistent value. See, yes. And so I haven't read that one yet or listened to it, but I can't wait to dig into it because when I listen to those books, so there's Building Your Story Brand, Marketing Made Simple, there's a couple other ones. Um, One for What the Heck, he was like, you have to listen because what they're talking about is everything that you've been talking about for the last couple of years. So then I listened and I was like, wow, this absolutely, like, yes, I've been talking about this. This makes sense. I became Story Brand certified because I wanted to be able to tell my audience and my potential prospects, this is what I do. When you tell people that you do social media, they're like, oh, so you play on your phone all day? Yes. Yes, I play on my phone all day. But they don't.
Because that's how people use it for pleasure, right? For leisure, for recreation, right? Like it's not there's no intention, there's no sport, there's no athleticism there's no discipline to it, right? They're just like passively consuming. If you are doing this for real, sorry, this is a tangent. If you are doing this, whether you're a social media manager or if you're DIYing your content, right? You're doing it yourself. Like you can't just be passively scrolling because you're never going to get any work done.
Right.
Sorry.
Absolutely. So I want to bring this up. I left this on the screen because Marcy says many brokerage firms discourage individual branding.
I want to talk about
Yes. Yes. So I do want to mention that, yes, that happens. However, you can still share your personality on social media while still talking about business.
I
Uh-oh.
want to talk
What?
for a second. I want to
Okay.
talk for a second about
The stage is yours.
so I've been talking to a lot of people lately about this particular thing. And it is interesting. I see it more with the big box brokerages. Is that what people call them? The big four, the big, like the big ones, right? I see people talk about this restraint, this restriction a lot with the bigger firms. And with the boutique firms. And sometimes actually it's even more aggressive with the boutique firms, which I don't quite understand. But across the board, what is interesting to me as a person who's still relatively new in this space, I'm still like, Dwayne, you're going to be so upset or proud, I don't know. But like, I had to look up what air rights actually were the other day. I was like, okay, what? I'm still learning. But very few firms, regardless of the size, have an in-house social media program, a
Right.
team or a person who is dedicated to supporting the brokers, the individuals, the people with a personal brand. So Molly Hopkins, who I do not know, who I have recently started following, who is is an executive in social media at CBRE, has recently started posting a lot, and recently had a post that was basically an anecdotal results post of, I mean, it's not anecdotal, but like, it's just like, she's telling the story about what it was of the same exact post on a personal account versus a company brand account. And while the corporate post still netted 2 million impressions because it's CBRE, they're a global company, right? They've got people following them all over the world. The same post I actually haven't seen the post in question. I got to look for it. The same exact post from a personal account had 10,000 clicks. 10,000 clicks from just a fraction of the impressions. So, like, the visibility wasn't as wide on the personal account, but more people engaged. And so it is interesting. This is a separate conversation, and maybe not maybe it's a conversation to take offline, but to see somebody in an executive position at a big firm talking about how the power of personal branding, the power in the numbers, more people, thousands of more people are engaging on personal content.
I think it has more to do with the fact. So, as you said that, it immediately brought to mind the fact that we trust personality over trusting a big corporation, right? Because I think we're almost cynical about bigger corporations. Like, you think Pepsi Cola, you think Pepsi Coke, you think any of these big brands, right? You don't expect them to care about you. What you expect is another person to care about you and to care about your opinion. Um, and so it, that when we talk about human behavior, more people are likely to click on a person's personal
100%.
post versus a business post that is almost exactly the same thing. We'll see it and we'll be like, oh, okay. But then you see somebody else who you know or who you follow, or somehow you are connected online and socially, you're going to click. You're going to find out what exactly it is that they're trying to say. Um, it's not just social, it's about, okay. And then Marcy says, many don't because they want to control the narrative. Oh,
I'm quite familiar.
yeah. So
Wow, wait, let me reel it back in. But I do, sorry, you were going to say something.
no, it's good. Keep going.
I've been cooking on this for a minute because I do think it's very interesting to see a big firm talking about this stuff, because what it shows me is that people are waking up. A lot of people are waking up to the fact that this is a lot stronger than the kind of stuff that people have been pushing out for decades, right? Because it's different. And I actually think that this format, not just us doing a live, but social media in general, I think that it fits the industry so well because the way that we do business is by talking to each other.
Yep. Connecting.
100%.
So Coy says, I get the big firms' concerns, but if they supported their professionals simply liking their posts, it would go a long way. It it would go a long way. If somebody from these bigger corporations, and we've gotten way off topic of what
No, we
what
haven't.
the whole point is today, but if the bigger corporations did have somebody that was like, oh, we have here are 20 of the top influencers in our company, right? Let's work with them to help get our messaging out and support them. And I was going to say something else. Holy cow! It would create more camaraderie with those brands. I think the other big challenge with big box brokerage, is the fact that they don't understand how to leverage social properly. And they look at it, we talked about it before, as a billboard, right? This is just another place to put up your sales listing. This is another place where you're going to sell something. You're not looking at your potential prospects or your clients as the hero. You're looking at yourself as the hero. So it's always me, 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 not you, right? So, which reminded me of a Toby Keith song, but that's that's where my brain went.
So many good comments, so many good comments happening right now. Oh wow, so many good comments. So
think of it like Nike endorsing someone and they're caught wearing Adidas, not Adidas. Can't drink a hen at Party. That should actually be a shirt. You can't drink a hen.
Well, it's just like it's all. I mean, it's all very interesting. Like, and honestly, who knows? Because of the way that brokerage is set up, and like how I can't even get into that because it's 829. But because of the business model of so many brokerages, like the marketing is not centralized, and except for a few things, right? And I get that. This and again, like 100%. If you like, if/when brokerages get behind, not just in spirit, but in dollars, when brokerages get behind the people who are already doing that work, like again, we're gonna have a season 1 to season 2 flip in the quality and the dispersion of the content, right? Like it's gonna like, and the other thing, one of the things too that Dwayne brought up in the chat is that they're scared of poaching. Okay. Like that perhaps firms, if they have someone who is being insanely successful, like they're afraid that
treat them well. That's
well. If you,
that's the answer.
I have to tell you, in my experience, if you have good marketing, if you give your brokers social media support, or give them a budget to hire it out, however you want to do it, right? Because maybe you can't bring on a marketer full time in a W-2 role. Like that's not realistic for a lot of companies. Sub it out. Like if your broker came to you and was like, I want help doing this, and you see the results because they've already been doing it, or even if you don't see the results, like whatever, like throw money. You should see some results. Throw some firepower behind it and see what happens. And if you do that, huge asset, huge incentive. Why would, if you had in-house or subbed out marketing support, why nobody else is doing that? It's a huge recruiting. It's a huge anchor. It's a huge retention, recruiting and retention, social media. I'm losing it.
No, you're not, because you have a great point. If you treat your people well, they will stay. That's it. That's bottom line. And the other thing I would like to say about big box brokerage before we get off today is that if you are going to do something where you have a program with influencers, my only caution would be do not hamper those influencers. Do not hamper them by taking personalities. Yeah, that's much better. Do not hamper them by taking forever to approve posts. That is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to treat your personalities like they're friggin' adults and that they know what they can and cannot say, right?
Love it.
That's
And ultimately, for a broker specifically, it's their business. It's their business under your model, right? It like we need to rethink the relationship between the kinds of prescriptions, restrictions, whatever, like guidelines, like whatever you want to talk about it, what people can and can't talk about. Um, there needs to be alignment.
yes.
There needs to be alignment. Um, but I do think that a lot of it is fear of
Yeah.
losing control of the narrative, fear of poaching, fear of, and honestly too, like, yes, if you are not careful about what you say online, that can come back to bite you in the booty, for
Yeah,
real.
absolutely. So, I mean, I have a client that works in hotels, and he does a lot of court stuff. And so we have to be very careful about what we post for him on social media because somebody could go back and be like, on this day, at this time, on this platform, you said this. Do you stand by it? Right. So we have to be very careful. So he approves all of the content that we create, but it's with the idea and the knowledge that he does have certain parameters and restrictions where he can say things. Now he owns his business, so that's fine, but he if he wasn't held to that higher, I guess, higher standard, then he could probably go off and say whatever the hell he wanted to. But knowing that and keeping that in mind that, hey, there's at some point, one of my social media posts could be brought up in court. I need to be careful with how I word certain things, how I say certain things. Um,
But
so,
you know what? People get freaked out when it's online because it stays there. But like you already navigate those things all the time. And so whatever the limitation there is in terms of guidelines, restrictions, or even your own limitations about your knowledge of the platforms, or just like whatever, like constraint breeds innovation.
ooh,
And so and this is where I want to actually bring it back down and ground this inside of personality. Great example of this is Gabe Einhorn.
mm,
Gabe Einhorn, who I recently cold called, and who has an amazing his brand praise for his faith inspired fashion, and like he's doing his street interviews and all this stuff. He's a lender. He's a lender, and you want to know what? There is probably a lot of stuff that he can't talk about,
yep,
but he has built a personal brand that is about his value system, his
mm,
beliefs, who he is as a person, what he cares about in other people, and the kinds of conversations that he wants to have. And you want to
right.
know what? Those are the same kinds of conversations that he's having on a regular basis with people he does business with. And so we see who he is, and it is so strong and so well presented. He's just totally smashing it. And it's just like, and he's a lender.
So
So
I think to bring this all back down, and we'll probably actually carry this conversation over to Thursday, is that you
great.
don't have to be everywhere, but you do have to show up with purpose, right? You don't have to be everywhere. But if you show up with purpose and intent to educate, entertain, and engage, then you're absolutely going to start pulling those people in. Perfect example, Gabe, right? He is sharing what is important to him. He's creating these connections. He's getting involved and having valuable conversations. And, is he getting business? Yeah, I'd probably say that he's getting business.
Yeah,
And that's,
he had me talking about clothes posts all the time. He just posted something recently. Like, it's great. Good job. And it was a
yeah.
good post.
So, I mean, but that's again, so as we're talking about social media, brand, personality is the new brand. We're going to continue this conversation on Thursday so we can actually get we went
Sorry.
off we went off track, but it's
That
fine.
was good.
Great. It was great. But we'll get through about education, engagement, and entertainment when it comes to your social media posts. We'll see you back here on Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel. We're the bats. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.